Brands don't change the world. This statement may surprise you, especially from someone like me who earns his living with branding and brand management. Therefore, I'd like to repeat it. Brands don't change the world. Of course not. Nonetheless, an entire cohort of creative consultants and brand strategists try to convince us of the opposite. They no longer believe in proven concepts such as the unique selling proposition, for instance. Instead, they suggest to escape the sea of sameness by putting a higher purpose at the very core of a brand's positioning. As a result, Dove is no longer a soap, but an advocate for healthy female self-esteem. They were, I think, the first of the big consumer brands that positioned itself by taking a stand in social discourse. And in their award-winning advertising campaigns, they have been fighting the traditional, often retouched image of women, especially in fashion and beauty advertising. And as far as the other half of society is concerned, Gillette. They no longer supply the best a man can get, their famous slogan, but advocate a new, emancipated male role model. In their, to be honest, very controversial advertising campaign, The Best Men Can Be, they address misbehavior among men, including sexism and sexual misconduct. And most recently, Visa developed a new brand purpose. And they are now doing well by doing good and to take advantage of the company's leading market position to uplift everyone, everywhere. Whatever. It seems that nowadays each and every brand wants to make the world a better place by positioning itself as a planet or society-saving force for good. And here it is again, the sea of sameness. How do you want to set your brand apart from the competition when each and everyone is claiming to heal the world? And even more importantly, which brands can we trust? And which brands are just green or pink or rainbow washing? Because one thing is for sure, it won't help at all if you just reposition your brand and at the same time continue to destroy the environment, to discriminate against people and to evade taxes. Sooner or later, people will find out, promised. And then you will find your brand in the middle of a shitstorm. The blame for all this may lie with Simon Sinek. In his famous TED Talk and his best-selling book, Start With Why, he introduced the golden circle. The logic of the model is quite simple. And according to Simon Sinek, almost every company out there knows what they are doing. The products, the services they sell. So for instance, we at Project A, we invest venture capital in promising early stage startups. This is what we are doing. And then the second circle, according to Simon Sinek, some companies also know how they do what they do. This is what sets them apart from the competition. Their brand, their personality, their values, their behavior, so the way they do business. For us at Project A, for instance, this would be our operational approach. We not only invest venture capital in startups, we also support them with our operational expertise whenever, wherever they need it. And most importantly, the inner circle, the why. According to Simon Sinek, only very few companies know why they do what they do. And according to him, these are the most successful ones. Because the why of a company, which is beyond earning money, of course, the why of a company is the reason for being for the company, is the foundation for everything and the reason why people buy into their products. So therefore, start with why. The logic of the model is as simple as its success. And I think no other model shaped more brands than Simon Sinek's Golden Circle in recent years. All companies started to dig deeper and to discover and identify the inner purpose at their very core of the company and to put it at the core of the brand's positioning. Unfortunately, the result is often narcissism, mostly interchangeable, and in general, a massive moral exaggeration of brands around the world. Because the way Martin Luther King, one of Simon Sinek's examples, The way Martin Luther King structured his speeches and started a social movement doesn't necessarily work if you have to sell toothpaste. You know, teeth as white as the unspoiled Arctic ice our company is, by the way, somehow protecting, this won't work. And secondly, just very few companies do have such a compelling purpose at their very core as Apple have. Another one, maybe the most famous one of Simon Sinek's examples. Just very few companies can reasonably claim that they are constantly challenging the status quo in order to change the way people are working, learning, thinking, and communicating. So to cut the long story short, I believe, starting with why, I believe Simon Sinek's golden circle is not a silver bullet for brand management or brand positioning. Apparently Visa isn't Patagonia, and there are just very few Patagonias out there anyway. So you can't just invent a brand purpose that is not grounded in reality. Your brand purpose has to be something your business can credibly fulfill and the people can buy into. A household cleaner brand isn't going to cleanse the spirit of mankind. If your purpose is too high, then people will think you are too, and your brand will lack authenticity, which is the worst thing that can happen to a brand nowadays. So I initially said brands don't change the world, but products do, companies do. So the job of brand management is not to invent a brand purpose. The job of brand management is to make good products succeed, so that the company makes a profit, pays taxes, has enough money to protect the environment and to treat employees, customers, suppliers, and investors fairly. Because at the end of the day, this is what people are looking for. Recent research in the UK and the US that monitored emotional reactions to TV advertising found that all the purpose-driven TV commercials that won at this year's Cannes Advertising Festival leave regular audiences distinctly unmoved. So it seems that the marketing and advertising folks are much more into the idea of starting with why than show public. And therefore, I think it's time again that brands answer first and foremost the question about the what, rather than philosophizing about the why. So design a product, build a product that changes the world for the better, and then build your brand purpose upon. Like Wonderbly, until recently one of Project A's portfolio companies. As you may know, their business are personalized children's books. And their purpose is to make every child feel loved, unique, and capable of everything. This example nicely shows how powerful and how inspirational a brand purpose can be when it's grounded in what the company is doing. And I personally think this kind of brand purposes are much more powerful than the higher ones, saving the world ones that are interchangeable. So when your why is not reflected in your what, then your what can basically be whatever. So if you are in branding, if you are in brand management, I suggest don't start with why. Go the other way instead, from the outside to the inside. Start with what and then build your brand purpose.